Hey guys, and welcome back. If you're new to our channel, welcome, and we hope you choose to subscribe. So today's another Foodie Friday, and I'm going to be making an arroz con pollo, which is rice and chicken. It's a Cuban dish. However, I'm going to be simplifying it so it's easy peasy and it won't take forever to make, and I'm keto-fying it. That's right, we're gonna make arroz con pollo keto style, so stay tuned. All right, so let's talk about this for a second. You know, me and Lou are both Cuban, and Cubans are all about the carbs. And for those Cubans that are following us, mi gente, you know what I'm talking about. It's all about the rice, it's all about the beans, malanga, yuca, like all kinds of carbs. So transitioning to keto was a bit of a step for us, but out of everything that we've tried, and I tell you, we've tried lots of diets, keto was the way to go for us. In less than a year, I would literally have to do the math, we lost combined over 80 pounds. So I lost about 55 and Lou lost, I think, 30, 35. Granted, I had a lot more to lose. I may have fallen off the wagon a little bit towards the end of last year, and I regained about 10 pounds. So I am getting back on board, being super strict with myself. And I'm just going to go back to basics. So I'm going to enjoy my Cuban food, but I'm going to make it keto style. So enjoy all those delicious flavors without the carbs. Are you ready? Let's get started. So you'll notice here we have our cauliflower rice. I am going to use 2 packets just so that I have enough leftovers. My simplified version is buying frozen onions and peppers that are already diced, instead of having to chop your own onions and peppers. I usually take these out and put them in portion-sized little individual Ziploc bags, but I did leave part of it in this bag just to share it with you guys. If you want to up it up a bit, you definitely want some garlic, obviously some chicken, and I did go with chicken thighs because 1, it has more flavor, and 2, it has more fat. If you go with chicken breast, know that it doesn't have as much flavor, it dries faster, it's higher in protein and less fat, whereas chicken thighs is moderate protein, a little bit higher fat, and it retains the moistness, so it has more flavor. The condiments that I'm using is pink salt, black pepper, sazon, which is a huge Cuban staple in order to make the yellow rice, the rice yellow for the chicken, and garlic powder, although I do also use onion powder, but I'm freshly out, so we'll be skipping out on the onion powder. Thank goodness I have onions in there. And then last but not least, some cumin. So those are my seasonings. These are all the ingredients. Let's get started. So let's go ahead and start chopping some garlic. So now that we've got our garlic diced, we're going to go ahead and take out our chicken, which I am going with 3 thighs. And I am going to trim as much of this fat as possible because nobody likes chewy fat inside of their meals. Once you have as much fat or as little fat as you want cut off, go ahead and with the same shears that you just used To cut the fat off, go ahead and cut your chicken into bite-sized pieces. Be generous with your pink salt. On keto, pink Himalayan salt is your friend. Take it easy with the cumin because it's very strong. And don't use all of your sazon right now, just a little bit to give the chicken some color. The rest we're going to reserve for our rice. For those of you that are new to my channel, I live in a 15-foot travel trailer, so our kitchen is way bit tiny. We opted to not have a stove here on our countertop because we have limited space. So exactly where I am cutting my chicken, I will be moving this off to the side and pulling out my little induction stove to cook up here. So if you're new, welcome once again. We are living the RV life, and besides doing these Foodie Fridays, you will see us living in this tiny space, what our life is like, and in the very near future, our travels on the road. Let's get back to cooking. Let's take out this induction stove. So I got my pan up. I've got this on high heat. I'm going to go ahead and use some Primal Kitchen avocado oil. You can use coconut oil. Once your oil is hot, you want to go ahead and drop your chicken in there, and you'll know it's hot because it's going to start sizzling. So once I get my chicken completely spread out, I want to make sure that every piece of the chicken is touching the pan so that it can brown. Once I have it spread out, I am not going to touch it for a couple of minutes. I'm going to let it sit there for a good 2 to 3 minutes so that it can get a nice sear. So while that sears, let me talk to you guys a little bit about those onions and peppers. Traditionally, we would put the onions and peppers and the garlic and all the seasoning together with tomato paste and create this thing that we call sofrito. And you can either leave it chunky or you can put it through a food processor and it'll become liquefied. And that is like the ultimate seasoning and flavoring on the majority of our dishes is sofrito. I actually don't have any tomato paste with me today. Plus, tomatoes are a little bit high in sugar. So I wanted to kind of steer away from including that. The flavors will still totally be there. But if you're okay with that and you want a traditional flavor, before searing your chicken, go ahead and throw in those onions and peppers into your pan with the seasonings, with the garlic, and that tomato paste. You might want to use about a tablespoon of the tomato paste. Stir it, cook it down until it's nice and mixed in. You can put a couple of tablespoons of water so it gets a little bit more juicy and it blends in well together. And once all that is nice and thick and mixed in together, then you want to throw your chicken in there. The chicken's not going to get the sear that it's going to get now because it's sitting in a sauce, but it's still going to cook very well and it's still going to have maximum flavor. So why don't you throw in that little alternative way of making this if you're not afraid of the tomato paste and you want that sofrito flavor inside of your arroz con pollo. Once you give that a flip, you want it to sear again, so leave it once again for about 2 to 3 minutes, maybe even 4 if you want it to get a little bit more golden brown. Let's get back to it. Now that the chicken is nice and brown all over, I'm going to go ahead and add in my diced onions and peppers. Got it all stirred in. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to step away for maybe 3 to 4 minutes. Let it cook down. Let a lot of that liquid evaporate. Let those onions and peppers caramelize. Let the chicken keep cooking. I'm not going to cover it because I don't want it to retain that steam. We'll do that with the cauliflower rice though. And I'll see you just in a bit while this cooks down. be thinking that I forgot the garlic, but I didn't. The reason I leave the garlic closer to the end is because garlic burns a lot faster. So definitely always, always, always cook down your onions and peppers first. And once that's completely sauteed and ready to go, then throw in your garlic. Now let that cook down for about another minute or two. You don't need 2 bags. You can literally use just 1 bag. Again, the only reason I'm doing 2 is because I want there to be leftovers. And I don't want it to be a bigger ratio of protein than anything else. Since it's still basically a block of frozen cauliflower, I'm going to put the top on it so that I can create some steam and it'll start to break down. And after a couple of minutes, I can break it down with my little spoon and give it a nice stir. And there we go. It's finally soft enough that we can go ahead and give it a nice breakdown. This is a good time to add more pink Himalayan salt. I'm going to give this a good stir, and I'm going to cover this. I'm going to lower the heat down to a medium, and I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let it be. I think we're good. Let's give this a final stir. Most of the liquid has already left. There is a little bit in here. Let me see, very little. So I'm gonna give this a final stir. I'm gonna turn it off, and then I'm just gonna leave it here on the stove for a little bit until Lou's ready to eat. All right, guys, you've got Lou over here digging into the pan. Although I did go ahead and serve us. So I basically garnished it with some green onions, and I'm serving it with some spring mix and half an avocado to up our fat. And I'm ready to eat, and I'm guessing she is too.
I'm giving it a test call.
Okay. So how is this keto arroz con pollo?
Right. Let's see. It's good.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you guys want to spruce up your cauliflower, if you want to have a healthier version of a Cuban arroz con pollo, rice and chicken, feel free to follow this recipe, and I did give you a few alternatives. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up.
If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a video.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Dame una mordidita. I know, I go for the camera.